everyone. I am Elizabeth Bradford, and I've been working with Rise Against Hunger for about 7 months now. I am the Community Engagement Manager for the Pittsburgh location. But today I am very excited to be able to share something I'm passionate about outside of work, which is gardening. And as you can see here, I have a garden on my patio. And we'll be able to dive into what I'm growing and how you can also do the same in your space. You'll also learn gardening is closely connected to our organization's efforts to create sustainable solutions to end hunger around the globe. We are in the spring, almost coming into summer months, and so there are seasonalities when you think about gardening. So here, if you can see, I have lettuce in this garden here. It's really good for spring planting. Lettuce really likes kind of the cooler weather. So if you're in a cooler temperature, right now, lettuce is something great you can plant. I'm getting a jump start on summer, and so I have some sweet banana peppers and then some peppers here in this pot. And then also kale and Swiss chard. So if you can't tell, I love greens. I love all leafy greens, and they're really easy to grow, and they don't take long at all to grow. So if you're looking for something that doesn't take 2 or 3 months to see the fruits of your labor, then you can always count on leafy greens. They'll be great for you to grow here. So what we're going to do is plant 3 different items. So I have radishes here that we'll plant in this garden container. And then also we will plant Swiss chard here, some leftover Swiss chard, just to show you how to transplant a plant from here to your garden bed. And then we'll also do something really fun with a mason jar. So what you need to actually plant is a container. Any container that you have, anything that you can put holes in the bottom or create a filtration method, you can, and I'll show you how to do that. But anything that you can put soil in and put seeds in, you can pretty much use. So that's great. And also you'll need your container, you'll need soil. So my recommendation for soil is to get something that is heavy in nutrients. A lot of times you see recommended for organic soil, or it's really up to you and what you're able to get at the moment. But just think about this food is kind of nourishing you. And so you really want to nourish it as well. And that is through the soil, that is through the water that you'll give it, and the sunlight. And so if you're thinking about where should I put my garden, where should I put my garden bed, I have it lined up here. This is mostly, it's a cloudy day here in Pittsburgh, but mostly sun comes here. So your plants need energy, they need sun. And if you're thinking about planting root vegetables, they'll need more sun because they're under the ground. So leafy vegetables, they can deal with less sun. I can put them over on a shadier side and then transition some of my peppers and some of my summer veggies here. Also, a rule of thumb is the bigger the fruit, so say for instance, you're growing, when we get into the summer months, you're growing watermelon or you're growing cucumbers, the bigger the fruit, the more sun it needs. So you can think about rearranging. So step into your space, you can close your eyes and imagine, where would I like everything to go? All right, so we're going to start planting. What I have here is my container. And it has holes in the bottom of this container, so it'll be easy for the plants to drain. So if you overwater a little bit, then don't worry if you have holes in the bottom of your container. First, I already have my soil here. So we have this soil here. What I love is that it's great to plant if it's loose. So if you think about, they're really, really small seeds, and they need kind of that aeration in order for them to kind of grow up through the soil. So it's really great if the soil is loose. And what we're going to do is plant our radish seeds, if you can see this. So the great thing about seeds in the packets, they tell you everything that you need to know. So if it's something that I'm saying too fast here, or you say, oh man, I forgot that, that's okay. Your seeds will tell you. So no worries at all. So here we have radishes. It says the depth is about a 1/2 inch. So that's how deep we'll go to plant. And then also the germination is 4 to 6 days. And germination just means when that seed is going to develop a root. And so the germination is about 4 to 6 days. You should see something kind of coming up here. Let me show you all something that I planted earlier. So this is lettuce. Of course, I have seedlings here, but if you can see, there are small lettuce seeds all along here. So I planted these about a week ago, and now I'm seeing that they're coming up. So the germination has happened there. So that's all that means. And then it says here there's 22 days to harvest. We open up this packet. All right, I'm going to plant 2 things here. So I'll make a line here in the middle just to give me a separation of what I'll plant over here and over here. We will make a couple rows here and here, and they're not very deep. If you can see that, I think you can see it a little bit. Yeah, they're not very deep. They're probably about this deep, so the top of your fingers. And then what I'll do is place a couple seeds in my hand, like so, and I'll sprinkle. And so these seeds are so small, you don't have to place them one by one. If you want to, that's kind of relaxing, you can, but you can sprinkle along those lines. Just like this. I think you can see me. Let's see. So I'm sprinkling along these lines. And then what I'll do is just cover it up lightly. So we're keeping in the same vein of making our soil light and fluffy. And so I'll be able to just cover those up gently there. So if you have your seeds, congratulations, you've planted your first vegetable and you'll be harvesting soon. Of course, I like to water. You can water after, but I'll water after I plant everything here. All right, so now we've planted our radish seeds and they're going to sit here. And then we're going to plant Swiss chard. So Swiss chard is really great leafy vegetable that you can use several ways. You can saute it, you can put it in a smoothie and also a salad. So some people call it rainbow chard as well. You'll see it in the grocery store just because it has different color stems. So it's great to grow and it loves kind of the cooler temperature as well. So what we'll do here, if you can see, if you ever have one of these, what I like to do is just have my hand and push this bottom part up. So if you can see that, I'll go back. So I'm pushing this part up. And sometimes the soil is a little loose. It's okay if you have to grab in the bottom. Voila, we have a plant. Now, in some instances, if they've been at the store for a while, they can become root bound, and that just means that the roots here are intertwined really deeply around here. This isn't bad at all, and the roots are hanging down. But if your plant is root bound, if you have maybe a herb or anything, then all you would do is take it loose like here and make sure some of those roots are sticking down so they'll grow down instead of around and suffocate your plant. So we have this. I've made the hole and we'll put it here and then cover up the bottom of it. So we have our first seedling. And so we planted seeds. These are seedlings. And then what we'll do is also use a method to transplant herbs. And so you may say, well, I really don't have the space outside you know, to grow a garden. I want to start something small. Can I do it in my house? And the answer is absolutely. Absolutely, you can. So we have a jar here, mason jar. And again, you can use any jar that you have at your house already. And what we're going to do, since this, we can't drill a hole in the glass, but what we will do is create a method for the water to stay down at the bottom, and it won't create rot for our roots, if you're following me. So I have rocks here, and I'm putting them at the bottom. There's also a method where you can use clay or sand. And so if you have sand, you can put sand first at the bottom and then put your rocks and then put your soil. So, but both will work if you only have rocks or if you only have sand. Both will work fine. Now what I'll do is put in soil. I won't promote the soil that I have, but it is organic potting soil and a mixture. It's really important to make sure too that you get soil that is for what you're growing. So I know sometimes they're in the same space, sometimes the flower and vegetable, but as long as it says, you know, potting soil mix and it has vegetables on the bag and flowers, then that's okay. If it just has flowers, then look for something that is for vegetables, something that you're growing. So we'll take this and put some soil here. And we won't fill it all the way up to the top. We'll fill the soil about halfway. And I said that and filled it to the top. But that's okay, because you can always take a little out, like so. So I mentioned herbs. Herbs are really great to, of course, season your food and to have in your home as well. So what I have is a dill plant here. I love dill. I love to add it to everything. And I'm going to show you how to transplant this in here so that you can have it in your home. So again, I know we worked through the method of the finger here. And with this one, honestly, what you can do is put your hand here and flip it over. So I know we mentioned roots, right? And we mentioned that sometimes they can become root bound. So this is what I would consider root bound. The roots are here. They're all growing over each other. So this is a sign that this plant needed to be repotted, and that's fine. And the roots are the most important part of the plant as well. So you want to make sure that you're very careful with the roots and very careful, just being very gentle with what you're doing. So we're separating. As you can see, we have two plants here. So we're going to separate and get this one. And don't worry about wasting soil. It's okay. All right, so we have our dill plant here. As you see, I separated it from this one. I'll probably put this one in a pot of its own. I have one here, container, that later on today I'll probably make it have its own home and use this one in the house. So we have the roots here. And what we'll do is take it and place it right in our jar, like so. So we have rocks, and then we have soil, and we have our plants. And what I'm going to do now is put a little more soil on top of here, and we'll be good to go. Add the soil. Here. So now we have created our in-home garden that you can put on your windowsill. It does need a little light, and so if you have a window in your home that the light shines through often, feel free to put it there, and you'll water it and watch it grow into a plant. So as you water, while we have the rocks here, is of course so the roots won't rot, and that water will come down through here and be able to kind of stay. It's like a filtration method here. And it's pretty aesthetically pleasing, I think. So today we've been able to do a couple of things. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me. We planted radishes here that we'll be able to harvest in about 22 days. We also planted Swiss chard and lettuce. And the great thing about Swiss chard is, and any of the leafy greens, is that they'll grow again. And so if you I harvested one of my lettuce leaves. If you harvest these and harvest about 3/4 of the plant, then they will regenerate and regrow again. So if you're looking for something that's really quick for you to plant and it kind of grows quickly and you get multiple harvests out of it, leafy greens is the way to go. And that's another thing that I really love about gardening is it allows me to have sustainability in my own space. And it allows me to kind of create from a very seed, nurture something that in the end will turn around and nurture me and give me nutrition and allow sustainability in my home. And so I know I mentioned earlier that Rise Against Hunger is really working to make sure that the sustainability that we have, that I have shown here, is able to translate through the globe. And so Rise Against Hunger is empowering communities for tomorrow by addressing the root causes of hunger through sustainable agriculture. And as you saw, it was pretty easy for us to plant this. So through our agriculture initiative in Senegal, communities there are able to access nutrient-dense fruits and vegetables through home and community gardens. And we saw here how easy and how relaxing and how fun it was to be able to just dig our hands in the soil. And I know Earth Day is something that just passed as well. And Earth Day, in my opinion, as my shirt, is just every day being able to kind of get outside and be in our organizations, in our communities, to be able to grow and plant food, grow and plant relationships, grow and plant partnerships. I think gardening kind of works full circle in life as well. And so also you'll have a chance to hear more about this project from Julie Savani and also our ADRA Zimbabwe partner coming up with this next live as well. So thank you so much for sharing, for coming into my home, coming into my balcony, and sharing your time with me. I hope that something here was able to kind of resonate and you'll be able to get to planting on your own. So thank you so much and have a great day.